These are the Dragoons release in the 7 Years' War range of 40mm scale rubber moulds from Prince August. You have here the Trooper mould, which can also be the standard bearer mould. This is the Drummer mould and the Officer mould. All of them come with interchangeable heads. And the final fourth mould has 8 heads with different headgear and also a standard bearer arm which can be used with the Trooper mould. This is the Trooper Dragoon mould. First we apply the release agent all over the surface. Clap the two sides together a few times to remove the excess powder. Insert the PTFE rod snugly into the shoulders of the body. This is to make a space so the different heads can fit onto that body. If it is not fitted properly, you will get lots of flashing, as the metal will bleed from the gap between the two halves. Add the support boards to either side of the assembled mould. Add 3 clamps as there is a lot of metal going into it. 2 on either side and 1 at the bottom. Now we are ready to move on to the next stage. First we test the temperature with the wooden stirrer. Light smoke shows it's good and hot. The solder pot provides higher temperatures, which helps give better castings than a domestic cooker. Take a good amount of metal into the ladle, move it over to rest the ladle next to the hole you want to pour the metal into. Quickly and smoothly pour the metal into the hole until it has completely filled up to the brim. Gently but firmly tap the mould to help settle the metal and remove air pockets that could be trapped. After 5 minutes, we disassemble the mould by carefully loosening the mould halves grip on the casting before opening it. The casting came out perfectly, and the PTFE rod is now partly encased in the metal body of the rider. Removing the PTFE rod, which replaced older rods called cores or O-rings we used to use, is very easy. Simply extract it with your fingers and store it safely for reuse the next time you cast. You can see the hole is clean at the neck of the rider. Heads will slot snugly into that hole. Now we use our super snipper or flat-sided snips to cut the figure from the ingate. Place the flat side against the base and slowly apply pressure until the base is cut. This should be a very neat cut, so you don't need to file it much afterwards. Next we cut the Trooper's head off the sprue. Remember, there is a long section attached to the neck you need to keep. Again, use the flat side of the cutter against the part you want to keep. The long pole on the neck can fit into the shoulder hole we made with the PTFE rod. The last part is the sword arm. There is a small ball of metal that is superfluous and can be removed near the hand. It is there to improve metal flow only. Carefully cut the arm off the sprue with the snipper like this, and you need very little filing afterwards. Finally place all the unneeded metal from sprues and the like back into the pot to remelt for the next time. Here we show the assembled rider with the sword arm attached. The arm will need some superglue to hold it firmly in place. Here we have cast the fourth mould with the spare heads. When assembling a mould, always carefully squeeze the clamps before removing them or they may snap open on you. Castings should be left for at least 5 minutes. Castings will always be the hottest where the metal is thickest. This often means the ingate is the hottest part of a new casting. These castings came out perfectly. They easily are removed from the mould. We use the snipper to cut the heads off the sprues. Careful not to lose the heads as they are quite light. You may need to file the neck poles a little if they are not smooth enough. Do the same procedure on the other set of heads and finally carefully snip the standard bearer's arm away from the sprue. It came away fairly easily, and you may need a tiny amount of filing to smooth it. Take a 1mm drill bit and drill a hole straight through the centre of the fist so you can place the standard bearer's pole in it. Here is the final selection of different heads plus the standard bearer arm cast from this mould. Assembling the heads after you've cast all the parts is quite easy. You can simply shove the neck pole into the body, and in the next casting you can stick a different head in. This one is a grenadier for an example, or as a final example we also have one without a helmet, a soldier without a helmet. Just a slot, you can slide them in quite easily.